the Patriots possibly being number 2 in the AFC East. I could see it. Absolutely, I could see that being the case. I think that might be a great sort of measuring stick for the Patriots. Can you be better than the Dolphins this year?
Sort of the goal. That should be your goal. Second place.
Your goal should be to win the division.
I know that.
I don't think the board and the at Gillette says second place.
No. But from the outside, like outside expectations.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
For us to talk about, not for them to talk
They've
about.
already started saying, Mike already said, if we want to win a division, we want to go to a playoff game. You get into second place from the last 2 years, that's doing pretty good.
I don't think Volan's wrong when he says that it feels like Miami is teetering on a potential just absolute teardown there with things falling apart.
Yep.
The Tyreek Hill stuff continues to go downhill there. Tua, you have so many questions about whether he's going to stay healthy. Does that head coach still have the locker room, or is that kind of worn off in terms of what he brings to the table?
The Patriots could help deliver those knockout blows.
Definitely.
And so those head-to-head matchups, to me, will take on increased importance than what they normally would as a division game and a team you want to finish ahead of to begin with.
I see what you're saying, too, about Miami, because their whole mantra, what they're built on is speed, spacing, timing, motion, all that stuff. Fast, quick, and you're just the complete opposite. Hard rock defense, going to get in your face, going to be violent with you. Fast guys don't like to have violent guys hit them, and let's go kill the quarterback. That whole combination of that, run the ball, stop their defense, hit their quarterback, and jam their damn receivers with the 2 corners we have. Let's go. You can beat Miami twice this year. You can. Not going to beat Buffalo twice. That's going to be tough.
Question about the violence from an emailer. Do you think the Patriots are unnecessarily putting a target on their backs with the league office by publicly announcing their intention to be violent? Are they just going to end up with more flags as a result of this?
No, they're not putting brass knuckles underneath their taped hands. I mean,
Bountygate 2.0.
Not a bad idea, by the way.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, after those first couple fines
It's a possibility when those fines start racking up.
You see here the old ones with the guy that had the busted hand. You get the roll of quarters. Put that inside there, then get that tape going. Boom. Mm-hmm.
You did that?
I didn't do it. Guys in the league did it when I was in it. Got a busted up hand taped up. Hey, give me a roll of quarters. Put that in there. Punch people.
Oh, you're saying like on the field? I thought you were just talking about
on
the
field.
field. You mean on the field?
Yeah, the game. Up under the chin. Yeah, they don't sneak one in.
Joe's in Blackstone. Hi, Joe.
Hi, how you guys doing today?
Hi.
Good.
I was just calling because hearing that comment from Elliot Wolf, it sent a chill down my spine. It reminded me of Grow. You know, if you want violent guys, you got to draft violent guys. And that's one whole issue.
Okay. I think he's referring back to the macro.
Yeah.
He said,
You want fast guys, you draft fast guys.
yes. Macro school of drafting.
They might not be able to play, but they're fast.
I would say, yeah, no, it's a good way of looking at it. If you want receivers who can play, you should draft receivers who can play.
They can catch up to the ball. They just can't catch them.
Yeah, exactly. That part we did not scout. No.
Those guys still work here. They're still here. Both of them. They're both here. They're both in the room with the people making the decisions about who they will take next Thursday night. Which right now, what do you think it will be? You heard news over the weekend, the possibility of the Saints needing to move up in this draft because Derek Carr is hurt and may miss the entire season. It may make the Saints more willing to go get a quarterback in this draft, and that could provide a potential trade partner for the Patriots to go from 4 to number 9. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Patriots are staying at 4, and I think they're probably drafting Will Campbell.
Well, he's like the only guy right now that people are like, it's like palatable to draft at 4.
Yeah. I think it's Will Campbell, too. And if you're the Saints, big deal. We'll sit and wait. We'll get Jackson Dart at 9 and Shador's gone. We're good. Like, what are you going from Shador to Jackson Dart? You're not missing anything anyway.
Like, I think people are good with a lot of these players in the draft, but just not at 4. So it's like almost as if the Patriots drafted them later, they'd be okay with them.
There's only two players that get really argued at 4. It's Campbell and it's Walker. With the rise of Walker. And it's still mostly Campbell. I think they're going to take Will Campbell.
No, I think that's a bit of a bummer.
Well, I think it's like 80% Campbell, 20% Walker. Could change a little bit. We got a way to go yet.
Abdul Carter in Foxborough today for a visit, by the way.
Yep. Final visit for him.
One of 4 visits he's taking. So if he falls out of that top 3, Patriots will be there potentially to scoop him.
How violent are you?
That should be the number one question. Number one question.
It's the most violent movie you've ever watched. Huh. What is the most violent? I'm trying to think here. Oh, boy.
If they're set on taking Campbell and Carter falls, do you think that they move off of it, or do you think they still take their left tackle? Because it's that important to figure out that position.
I mean, what will they do? It's hard for me to know.
I hope they take him and I commit to playing him at left tackle and not don't draft him.
No, he's not. What happens if Carter's there at 4?
Take Carter.
I just don't know. I know that they said that they want to draft best player on the board.
Yeah, he's the best player.
But it's such a glaring hole at left tackle. I don't know if they're actually going to move off of that. Because I'm with you. I think they're going to take Will Campbell because they need a left tackle. And that's kind of it. That's the easiest way to solve it.
I mean, that would be ridiculous if they did that. I can't imagine they would. I can't imagine they would stick with Campbell if Carter falls to them.
No way.
You've got to go for they're just not in a position to draft for. I know it sounds crazy because you say, what do you mean? Left tackle's a need. They could draft for that. It's a premier position. I don't think they're in a position to take a lesser player when their pick is put on the board.
I agree with that.
And once you get past Hunter, Carter, well, now you've got a debate. I don't think there is a debate if one of those players is at 4. Now there's no debate. You know that player is better than anything else that's left on the board. And so that's what makes it really difficult to sell that to anybody. And I'm sure there would be people in the room who would stop them from doing it. That would say, no, we're not going for the debatable left tackle. Debatable in the sense that it's not a lock that he should be the number 4 pick in the draft.
Right.
That there's a debate as to who the next 4 best players are in that draft. You could count 10 different guys in the conversation for who should go in the next 4 picks. For real. It's that big of a sort of unknown. So with that being the case, you've got to go with a guy who's really a known commodity, although that foot injury scares me.
Yeah, and I wonder if that situation presents itself, do then they open it up to calls? Because there's someone then willing to trade up to grab Carter.
NBC Sports Boston talking to tight end Tyler Warren about the potential of being drafted by the Patriots. Do you think there's any chance the Patriots look tight end in this draft early?
Not at 4. Not at 4. 6, 7, 8, 9, I would say yes. I would think your top tackle, your top edge rusher, obviously your top quarterback, top receiver would be off the board at that point. Now you get into 6, 7, 8, 9. That's kind of where that guy's going to go. Somewhere in there.
Man, I would
6,
hate
7,
that for
8,
them.
9.
I like the player, by the way.
I like him a lot.
I like his game. I think that maybe he's not going to be as great at the NFL level, and I think speed might be a bit of a factor. But in addition to that, how weird would it be if the Patriots traded back out of 4, went to whatever, you say 9, let's assume the Saints thing happens, and they're taking a tight end. How underwhelming would that be for what they do on night 1 of the NFL draft?
People know this kid, though. They're not taking an obscure tight end. He's the best tight end in football. Then you like the idea of, package him with Drake May for the next 9, 10 years. Like, that's what you would do it for. And then have him learn under Hunter Henry. That'd be great. I wouldn't have a problem with that at 9. At 4, now you're reaching.
No, but overall, you'd be happy with the end of the night 1, sort of process taking place, and you walked away with a tight end who's got question marks?
Yeah, you got a weapon.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think it's sort of thinking outside the box. Everyone's thinking receiver for a weapon. What about a tight end?
Underwhelming. You have a good tight end.
You're telling me you're going to get a George Kittle type in the first round of the draft? I'd take that.
Yeah, I just don't know that that's what he is.
I think that's a lot of the comps, right?
I think in most years he's not going this high either.
What if Membu's sitting there?
Oh, that to me is a guy that's worth taking.
But like if those type of guys are gone, and he's 9, and Membu's already off the board, take the kid. I wouldn't have a problem taking the kid at 9 if you move back. I'm not at 4 though. Not at 4. You get a lineman at 4. Or Walker.
But moving back is worth what? Like what? Where's the value to this roster in moving back? I'd rather you take a risky pick at 4 than move back. And I'm counting Will Campbell as being risky. You take Will Campbell at 4 or move back to 9 and take Tyler Warren. Give me Will Campbell, and I don't even like the idea of drafting this kid. But I like that a lot more than trading back 5 spots and taking a tight end in the top 10.
Yeah.
If you felt that way about Ty Warren, too, aren't you just taking him at 4? If you really thought he was a complete game changer, like you said?
He's not, and that's why nobody would take him at 4.
It'd be hard to take him over guys like Walker or, say, Carter Fall.
Right.
Yeah. No. Would people take him over Tech McMillan? Like, Tech McMillan's the number 1 receiver in the draft, right? Giants, Pants.
So you'd rather take a guard at 4 than a tight end at 9?
Yes, because I think that player, if we're talking about Will Campbell, if he turns into a guard, he's going to be a damn good guard.
Hasn't like the narrative
Isn't
sort of
he?
shifted where everyone's like just assuming that he's going to wind up being a guard now?
No, I'm not assuming it. I'm going to give him a chance. But if he does become a guard, Will Campbell the guard is a safer bet to me than Tyler Warren the tight end.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I think the risk is kind of more worth it because the risk is he turns out he's not a tackle, which I think is a real chance of that happening. But the fallback is not that he's a bust, and I don't think he's a guy who can't play in the NFL. I don't think that of him. I think he can play. I think that's probably why he's attractive to teams because they feel like, well, if it doesn't work out at tackle, if the guy turns into a bust, he's not going to turn into a bust of a player. He's still going to be a starting caliber player on our offensive line. It's almost like 2 picks in 1.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a real thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Tyler Warren, tight end. Yeah, not loving that idea.
Tight end, power back, short yardage goal line.
You mentioned it earlier, but you don't think the Saints are going to move up out of 9 because they could just stick at 9 and draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
there
I'd
if they
stick at
feel.
9. I'd take Jackson Dart if he's gone. Oh, well. Hope Shador falls. If he's there, take him. If not, take Jackson Dart.
But the price of moving up is not worth it in your mind.
No. Get the same type of player anyway.
Also, you know that the Patriots are not drafting a quarterback, so you don't need to move up into their spot.
Correct.
Right.
True. I think that's the case. I don't think the Pats are going to surprise us with a Shador Sanders pick.
No, if Joe Milton was causing problems, I got to imagine Shador might also fall in that category
Be
a
trading
little
him
bit.
out of here next year.
Yeah.
Him and Dion flying in.
Maybe trading him.
Jesus.
They turned that first into a second in no time. Record time, McCone. Right? That's what it would be.
Somebody like no other names have popped here.
No.
Like really, it's Campbell, it's Membu. Starting to hear Tyler a little bit. Walker's popped the most. Walker has popped the most lately to the Pats. But it's really only 4 guys. Like there's this spin the wheel. What do you think is going to happen? It's really 4 guys, and you could probably narrow it down to 2.
Now, there's not a ton of random draft thoughts that I hear about and I say, oh, yeah, tell me more. Here's one for you, just to back up a point. It's from Jay, emailer Jay. said, "Hey, Beetle, I want to chime in with my take on the draft. If they took Tyler Warren, he will not be the best tight end taken in this draft. He's a gadget guy. He'll be an okay TE2. Oh, yeah. Love the TE2 talk. For his career. The best tight end in this draft is a guy named Harold Fannin Jr., and you can get him outside of the first round. He will be much better than Tyler Warren. Harold Fannin Jr. played at Bowling Green. He's from Canton, Ohio. Birthplace of football. Counts for something.
Super football.
There you go.
I mean, that's
Move him up the board.
Put him up there. Hall of Fame type of town that he comes from.
He's a janitor at the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
And so,
Weekends.
Does he play with extreme violence? Though?
I don't
That's
know.
the question.
I don't know the level of violence that Fannin's
Yeah.
playing with. That's a prerequisite now in New England. Violence. But when you hear that, I'm like, yeah, I could find that totally believable.
Yeah.
Yep. Who were the tight ends taken in the draft ahead of Gronkowski the year he went? Now he had a back issue. He slipped in the draft. Was he the first? I don't think he was the first tight end taken, was he?
I'm not sure. He was second round.
Oh, he may have.
Jermaine Gresham went number 21 in 2010. Yep, Bengals.
Jermaine Gresham.
Yeah.
How'd he work out?
It was not Gronk.
Right. So I could see it happening.